Wrong Turn. Chronicle 6. Chapter 1. Ross. Ever since I was 14 years old, I always knew I was a player like the Mac or some shit. I was very much my father's son, who had like 3 wives and 20-something girlfriends by the time I became an adult. It was hard to watch my mom go through that, but like I said, I was my father's son. I followed his lead on what a man was supposed to be like. Every other dad I knew was similar to mine, a bunch of pimps, players, and hustlers. Let's just say I was never really down for the pimping shit, even though I used to hustle weed and coke on the streets. Finally, I was at a point in my life where I thought I wanted to be on my grown man settle down find a wife kinda shit. But then some unexpected shit happened. Princess Naima. I loved my husband, but we've had a loveless, sexless marriage for at least 4 out of the 8 years we've been married. I had always been a faithful wife, and even a devoted girlfriend in the past. That shit was a challenge for me. One day, I was out doing some errands or something, and I ran into my old homeboy from Queens Metro HS. We were always cool friends, never crossed the line. We had that brother-sister vibe. We used to smoke blunts during 5th period in the back school stairwells. Security won't really tight back then. But we were major tight as homies. I hadn't seen him for at least 10 years, but I instantly recognized his voice from the back. He was talking to someone with his back to me, but I turned around like I know this dude. I tapped him on the shoulder, and he almost swung on me. I said real quick, "Yo? Ross? It's me." He stopped and looked confused for a second. Then he goes, "Yo, princess. What you doing here? I thought you moved years ago." I admitted, "Yeah, I came back after I got a job in Manhattan and then I got married, became an instant stepmom." Wild shit, right? Wow. Married with kids now. That's what's up. I told him, I finally got a little break now, 'cause with their bougie-ass mama for the summer. I laughed. Ross seemed intrigued, but I changed the subject real quick. Didn't really want to talk about the baby mama drama. I asked him, "What about you? I heard you have your new record deal." "Yeah, man, I expect to release it for New Year's Eve. My producers are excited as hell." "Shit, I'm excited shit. My first album didn't do well, but this one will set shit on fire." He sounded so excited about his music, so I got excited. I hugged him out of nowhere, surprising myself. He hugged my waist, making me feel some kinda way. I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. Ross looked surprised too. "Yo, princess. You looking kinda thick in them jeans, girl." We both laughed. I got back on topic, 'cause this shit was kinda awkward. "I can't wait to hear your new music on the radio." He said, "You can hear it right now. I have the unfinished copy inside my ride." Ross and me were close as hell, but I didn't really know who he had become after school. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get in his ride. What would he do to me? How would it look to other people, especially my husband? All of those kinda thoughts were going through my head. But I went with my gut. "Aight, man. You know I can't wait to hear it." From the looks of his Mercedes truck, my nigga had already made it. I hopped inside and checked the interior. Nice. Heated seats, plush leather, nice system, and a sunroof, of course. I asked him, "You sure you haven't already made it big?" He laughed, "Yo. I just got this ride from my advance on the album. That's how much the record company believes in this album, but you tell me." He started playing the intro. I was already hooked. The beat knocked. Then Ross' voice that I knew so well came through the speakers. Ross really had skills. I remembered back in the day, Ross used to rock the cafeteria, beating on the table and spitting his rhymes. The school staff would let him do it, 'cause he was nice like that. I really missed those days. When I finished listening to the first half of the album, I was blown away. So much so, Ross had to fix us a blunt to calm our nerves. The higher we got, the more relaxed we became. It was like old times again. Ross. I was shocked as hell, running into my homegirl from high school. It was like 91 again, running into her, but she had changed. I barely recognized her 'cause she looked like she lost weight, but got thick in all the right places, and she was made up real girly-like. I'm used to the tomboy who hung out with the niggas and didn't fuck with females like that. Now she talking 'bout she married with stepkids. We hung out for hours, talking about everything under the sun. Catching up on our lives over a 10-year time period. I was also shocked to hear Princess came back to NY, mainly because she got in trouble with the law fucking with the dude who was slanging keys of cocaine. She told me that she knew nothing about his drug dealing, and when the police rioted their place, she went down with her man. Lucky for her, she had a good lawyer who got her off from 3 to 5 years in jail to a year and some change for good behavior. Damn shorty. You gangster, huh? I was joking, but I saw that the shit was getting to her. It was hell in that place for 15 months. She got quiet for a minute. So I sparked the blunt again and took a drag from it. I passed to her. She pulled a long drag and coughed. This is some good shit you got here. She giggled. She was high as hell and was starting to chill a little. I held her hand, which was spontaneous and unexpected for both of us. Ross, you know I'm married, right? Don't be coming on to me. She joked. Yeah, you said something about being married before. When has that ever stopped me before? She said, yeah, I remember that shit in high school. You used to have at least 3 girls at a time. Some of them had boyfriends. How many of them tried to kill yo ass? She had a point. I told her in my defense, listen shorty, I'm trying to change my ways. Once a player, always a player. Ain't that how the saying goes? I told her, I have been cutting out my player ways lately. What changed? I almost got shot trying to fuck a dude's wife. In my defense, she didn't tell me she was married till the nigga came home. I was about to fuck the shit out of her when dude pulls out a Glock. He let me go though. Not sure why. I guess he was used to his wife being a hoe. Damn man, you almost died fucking around? Shit yeah, I became a praying man that night. And I stopped fucking other men's wives. I had a few more girlfriends, but I stopped fucking the wives. We both laughed. That's terrible, Ross. One step at a time, right? You can't expect a full-time player to just stop all of a sudden. But now I make sure they are not married. They single if they not married, right? Ross cut it out. She knew I was joking. I told her seriously, for real though, I haven't been doing much lately. Focused on my music projects. Girls still throw that ass at me, but I'm more focused on what is important. I hear that. Me too. And apparently, my husband too. He's not home much these days. My ears perked up. Marriage not as strong as it appeared at first? Oh, so you're alone a lot? Yeah, I may see him some weekends, but it's getting to be less and less time for us to be together. I blurted out, I can keep you company if you want. She went silent again. I thought maybe she was thinking like I was thinking. We can't do that, Ross. It'll be wrong. I told her there's nothing wrong with having friends, right? I guess not. I knew I had her when she said that. Princess Naima. Ross thought he was slick, like I didn't already know his game. We've been friends since 2010, so I knew his mo. We couldn't be friends like that hanging out like back in the day. It would look suspicious, especially to my husband Ray. Tonight I was just gonna go with the flow, but we couldn't keep doing this and it not be a problem later. Ross and me stayed in his car for at least 3 hours before I tried to wrap up our little reunion, but he had other plans. Princess, what you doing tomorrow? I started to lie, but I said nothing, I don't work till Monday of next week. He said, oh really? Sounding sneaky as hell. What does oh really mean? I said sarcastically. Oh, nothing. You can hang out longer and finish this blunt with me. If you want. Aight. We talked another 20 minutes before I suggested a second location. I didn't want the night to end either. I asked him, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm working on my music more, and then I'm hanging with you. I was tripping at his persistence. We can hang out tonight, but that's about it, Ross. I playfully slapped his shoulder. He liked it. He joked, just like I like my women abusive. I had to ask, Ross, what's going on here? I mean, this right here is a different vibe for us. He said, we are grown now. We are not kids anymore. I know, but aren't we still homies? Ross told me, yeah, we are homies, but we can be lovers too. I squirmed in my seat, 'cause his words were affecting me. I had to change the subject. Ross, let's hit the hotspot tonight. I heard about this new joint downtown. He smiled 'cause he knew why I was acting weird. He told me, aight, princess. It bet not be whack. I'm not for no whack-ass party tonight. I heard from more than one person it's nice. Oh, so 2 people told you that, huh? He laughed. If you don't like it, you can choose the next spot. He was picking up what I was putting down. This meant I was willing to spend several more hours in his company, and I had no idea what would happen next. I didn't know how I would handle his advances, but I knew I wanted to find out. The first spot we hit was whack, just like Ross predicted. But he took us to a hood spot he knew about. I would be lying if I didn't say I was scared, being up in there at first. But Ross made me feel safe. He walked up in the club with his gun and everything. Security knew him from being a local celebrity, and usually let him in with no problem. So I got in no problem too. Once inside, Ross got us both drinks to help loosen me up. And boy did I get loose. On the dance floor, that is. I was twerking and backing it up on Ross, which was a total slip-up. We were both having fun, and Ross was testing the waters as much as he could. There was a strong sexual energy between us on the dance floor. I could feel his print on my ass. I was feeling so conflicted. Chapter 2. 3 days later. Ross. Leaving the studio after a long-ass 10 hours, I was exhausted and ready to get some rest when Princess texted me. I hadn't heard from her since the night we hung out. Her message sounded urgent, so I responded before closing my eyes. Her message, hey, what you doing? I really need to talk. I answered, hey, just left the studio, about to lay it down for the night. She mumbled under her breath, you can lay me. She paused and then said, can I stop by before you lay down? Sure, love. Come on. Thanks, Ross. I really need someone to talk to. I got you. I was barely awake, but I'd be there for an old friend. She thought I didn't hear her little flirtatious comment, but I did. My dick heard it too. Some kind of way we dodged sex that night a few days ago. The tension was thick between us, but I didn't want to cross the line with a married woman who used to be my old school homie. Princess came over about 20 minutes later, like she was texting from my side of town already. It was cool. I loved her company. She had on a feminine, sexy type outfit, short, tight black dress with heels. A side of Princess I wasn't used to. Aye, Princess. Where you headed? I checked her out, head to toe. She noticed me looking. She said, I was going out to this party, but what? She paused for a minute. I motioned for her to come inside. But my husband came home from his business trip early and started talking shit about a married woman going out in this outfit at 12 midnight. I cussed him out and left his ass where he stood. I laughed, yo? You what? I cussed his ass out. How dare he tell me not to go out and tell me what to wear when he'd been gone for 3 weeks? No call, no text, no nothing. He's probably fucking overseas bitches or lying about the whole trip, and fucking in-town bitches too. She said exactly what I was thinking. But I figured I'd play devil's advocate to make her feel a little better. Princess, maybe he has been busy with his business accounts just like he told you. Do you have a reason to think he is cheating? I grabbed her hand to get her to calm down and sit with me on the couch. She sat down next to me, really close, and gave me an unexpected hug. I could smell her perfume and the rest of her. I had a quick high inhaling her essence. When she released me, I was still tripping out with how attracted I was to her, and she was crying. It was not the time to be trying to fuck, but I was struggling to look at her as just a close friend and be supportive like she needed. Ross, I don't know if I can do this marriage shit much longer. I was thrown off by the comment, "Why you say that?" 'Cause I should have never gotten married. I jumped into this shit without really thinking first. I didn't listen to my best friend. I didn't listen to my mother. I didn't listen to my gut. Now I'm stuck. Well, if you feel that way, why not just let it go? Life is too short to be unhappy doing anything too long. It's not that simple. She got quiet a minute. Then she said, "I think I might be pregnant." That would really fucking complicate shit. I didn't know how to respond to her. So I didn't. She laid her head on my shoulder for comfort. So I gave her what she obviously needed from me. At the moment, comfort was all she needed, but not all she wanted. Princess Naima. The pregnancy test read, "Not pregnant." I thought to myself, what a relief. I couldn't be pregnant by my husband, 'cause he wasn't what I needed. He was never around. Just fucked me on Saturdays when he wasn't out of town. No love, no understanding, nothing worth having. What I needed was the warm embrace Ross gave me. After years of friendship, we were still connected. Ross was there when I took the test and read the results. He knew just what to say to comfort me through my anxiety and during my relief. He knew what I craved, which was real love. It was all platonic between us, until it wasn't. He threw me off guard with a kiss, and I let him explore my mouth with his tongue. His lips were so suckable, so I sucked and gently bit the bottom one. That must have sent him on edge, because he lifted me in the air and carried me to his bedroom. We both knew what time it was. I forgot I had a husband. I was in heaven and felt nothing but pleasure, with a side of good pain. You know the kind of pain that hurts so good. Ross entered me slow and deep, hitting all the walls. I moaned every time he hit the bottom. He got excited every time he heard my moans. He heard them hitting it from the back, on the side, and when I came for the first time under his warm body. I felt like he needed that shit as much as I did. Something real. Not just sex, but something special. We were both missing that. There was something about the second round that brought out my inner hoe. I rode the dick that was long, thick, and standing straight up in the air. I was a little intimidated at first. Ross could tell. He said, smiling at me, "I know, just take your time. I got you." When he said that, I think my pussy got wetter and opened wider for him. I expanded to accommodate Ross inside of me. I did what he said, and we took our time. I savored every stroke, and rode him till I came again. He was satisfied, and still hadn't released in me yet. He was happy for me. I wanted to make him happy too. I licked and sucked his dick like it was my last meal. Massaging his balls drove him over the edge again, and he came in my mouth. Both satisfied, we fell asleep in the wet sheets full of sweat, and I was pretty sure there were other fluids everywhere too. We didn't care. It felt good laying in his arms, and at the moment I wanted to live in that space with him. Ross. Phew. Horty girl had me speechless. I usually did a lot of shit talking during sex. You know, the ego type shit talking like, "Whose pussy is this?" I was now suddenly mute. I couldn't say shit but, "Damn baby." She was amazing, and it was really beautiful what we had going on that night. Made me not want to let her go. The next morning, Princess slept way after I woke up. I just held her and looked at her rest. She could finally relax, 'cause she knew I had her. Something changed the night before. I couldn't explain it, but I knew we had changed from homies to lovers overnight. And I couldn't wait to love her again. When Princess woke up a couple hours later, I was ready to show her how much she meant to me, and how special our moment was. I was ready, but she said she had to go. Her husband would be home from his latest trip to Washington State. Apparently, he was possessive and would be looking for her if she wasn't there by 4 p.m. when his plane landed. We showered together and had a little bite to eat before she left. We both wanted to please each other again, but she had to go, so I let her. We had plenty of time for all that. Princess Naima. I wasn't much of a fan of my husband before, but now he made me want to throw up just being around him. It was getting harder and harder to pretend like things were cool between us. We were both fucking other people, but I knew he had no idea about my affair with Ross last night. It was so good, and I knew I was smiling hard afterwards. I had to tone it down around my husband, but when I got on FaceTime with my bestie, I let it all out. My girl Freedom goes, "Bitch, where you go last night? You hung up on me." I was trying to decide whether to tell Freedom the full truth. I loved her, but she couldn't keep her mouth shut. She didn't need to know about the almost pregnancy scare, but I had to tell somebody about the sex. Girl, just let me say, I had to get off the phone 'cause there was an emergency in between my legs. I laughed. It took her a minute to connect the dots. What? So what happened? I told her, I came by to talk to Ross about shit going on with Ray and... You went to your old high school buddy to talk about Ray and not your girl? I got quiet real quick, trying to think of the right thing to say. It was kinda late, and I knew he was up. You fell asleep after I hung up, didn't you? You got me. Yeah, you're right. Sue? I went over there. I was really upset, crying and shit. It was embarrassing. Freedom was losing patience with me, okay, and then I told him how fucked up my marriage is, and he listened. He was listening, all right. Freedom said with an extra dose of sarcasm. Nah, Free, for real. He really listened, and he was still the great friend I had back in high school. So how did shit shift to fucking the man, princess? He held me in his arms and then he kissed me. Aha. I said, I know what you were thinking, but it wasn't about the sex. It was different, you know. She joked, yeah, y'all were making love, right? We both laughed. I told her, seriously, yeah. I have never felt what I felt last night with Ross. We didn't even talk. We just loved on each other all night long without words getting in the way. Freedom seemed to be intrigued. That kind of shit only happens in the movies. And with me and Ross. Okay, tell me more. How was it? This was the part one couldn't wait to relive. Girl, it was the best sex I've ever had. I mean, ever. Our chemistry was magical. He knew all the right spots to hit. We did every type of position I knew, and a few I learned last night. I know I came at least 3-4 times. And when I came, he seemed to be more pleased than I was. A man actually caring about how satisfied I am has never happened before in life. I was starting to feel like I had already said too much. Freedom seemed to be a little jelly about my sex story by the awkward look on her face. I knew she was in a drought and hadn't had sex in 4 years. After an awkward pause, Freedom finally said, "Bitch, I'm glad somebody is getting laid 'cause I ain't." She was laughing to keep from crying, and I knew it. Free, you know that dude at work is feeling you. You could be getting laid now if you weren't so picky. I joked. Guess you're right. Let me go on and get off this phone and look for some good dick then. She laughed. Then we said our goodbyes. When I got home from my job doing outpatient therapy, I immediately thought of Ross. I thought of what happened last night and how weird the shit was, even though I was loving it. Ross had me sprung and I felt weird about it. I never thought I'd have sex with my homeboy, but stranger things happen all the time. Where do we go from here? I thought to myself. Ross was texting me to see when I was coming back to see him again, and I had no idea how to respond. Is this what we are now? Homie lover friends? After an hour, I hit him back. Sorry babe for the late response. I got busy at work. I was lying my ass off, but he didn't know. He texted, "It's cool, sweetheart. Just about to head out to the studio, myself. Just wanted to see you first. You down to come by the studio? See your boy in action?" I responded quickly, yeah, that would be nice. No threat of fucking at the studio, right? I just didn't know if I wanted to fall for him too quickly, and if we kept getting down in the bedroom, I knew I'd fall in love. I needed to think more about what I really wanted. And being unhappily married complicated things a lot. I arrived at the studio and was greeted by a bunch of niggas I didn't know. But who I did recognize was Alicia Reeves. I loved her voice and music in general, so I was starstruck. I realized Ross was really coming up working with artists like her. After I finished fanning out over Alicia, I watched Ross and Alicia work together in the studio, and it was amazing watching them create a killer track. I was so proud of my friend. My homie? My new lover? He was equally matched with Alicia, even though he was fairly new in the industry. They were finished a few hours later, and that's when things got real. After Alicia left, Ross picked me up in front of the producers and everybody else, and took me to another room with a bed. I knew what he wanted to do, but Elle still didn't have a chance to think about things with Ross yet, and he was trying to relive what we did last night. Ross, hold up. Hold up for what? He had already gone between my thighs and was about to remove my panties. Wait a minute, can we talk first? He sat up on the bed, dick hard as a rock, and waited to see what the holdup was. Okay, what you want to talk about? I just don't know if we should keep doing this. What you mean? Didn't you love us together last night? Yes, Ross. It was amazing. But we are both forgetting the problem here. I'm married, and I just cheated on my husband. I don't know what my next move will be. He asked me straight out, okay, so you want to stop? I don't know, Ross. I'm so confused. I get it, and I respect it. We don't have to do shit you are not ready for. Thank you for understanding, Ross. Now what I heard on the streets is eating ain't cheating, so? I laughed at his joke, but I was aching for some kind of penetration, and needed an excuse like that to get it. Yeah, it still is. I admitted. I want you so bad though, Ross. Then don't deny yourself. He kissed my lips and then the lips below. My hips automatically swayed to the rhythm of his tongue. I grabbed the sides of the bed to hold on for the ride. I just knew people could hear my moans in the studio area. I couldn't help it. I guess folks knew to get the fuck out, 'cause I could hear them leaving the studio and door slamming shortly after that. Now I could enjoy the privacy of being with Ross alone. After I came, Ross kissed me, making me taste myself on his lips. We moved to the sofa, and he had me sit on his lap where he entered me from a seated position. One of my favorite positions. He had me ride him up and down, and all around his shaft till we both came together. It was euphoric, till the phone rang. It was Ray. Ross, it's been real, baby, but I gotta go. Ray is almost back home. You don't have to go nowhere. He said, kissing me. You can stay here with me. You ain't never gotta go back to that nigga. He'll go crazy if I ain't home when he get there. Listen, princess, you don't need a nigga controlling you and keeping you at his beck and call. I would never date you like that, and you know that. I know, Ross. That's what I love about you, but... He interrupts me with a gentle voice, babe, I don't want you to leave. I think you're in a bad situation that could take a bad turn. Leave your shit there and start fresh with me. I have a penthouse in Manhattan. It's nice, clean, and classy just like you. It can be your own space. I'm rarely there since I stay here so much. I ain't gonna lie, his proposal sounded good. Real good, but it was all moving too fast. Ross was throwing so much at me at once. I trusted him though, and I knew he had my best interest at heart. Okay, let me sleep on it. This is moving too fast for me, Ross. I love being with you, and I'll be back to visit, okay? Visit, huh? He laughed at my choice of words. I replied, yeah, I like our visits, baby. He said, I love our visits, and they will eventually be permanent. You hear me? I told him, yeah, I hear you, we'll see. I kissed his lips before I left. I didn't want to leave so soon, but I had to go. I raced home and got there right in time. I jumped in the shower and got dressed before Ray got home from his so-called business trip. I decided to avoid his ass so I could think. When Ray arrived, I allowed him to kiss my cheek, and I told him I was tired and had a killer migraine. I had them a lot, so it was believable. He told me to rest, and he'd see me later. He left shortly after, probably to fuck a different bitch. I really didn't care anymore, 'cause I was seriously considering leaving him like Ross said. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to jump from one man to another. I didn't want to risk our friendship to have an uncertain, very complicated relationship. Chapter 3. Ross. It was my first lonely night in at least 10 years. And it was by choice. I usually kept a couple joints in my pocket for lonely nights, but I had Princess preoccupying my mind. I was genuinely worried about her, and I'd fuck this Ray dude up if I had to. Me and Princess went way back, and I'd always have her back. Regardless of the sex, she was still my friend. Not one of the usual hoes I hit every other night. I called her later that night to see if she was okay. She answered on the first ring, like she was waiting for me. Hey Ross. What's up? Hey love. How you doing? I'm good. Maybe I should have listened to you. I asked, why you say that? 'Cause the nigga out in the streets, probably fucking bitches again. She laughed. Guess the shit didn't faze her no more. She continued, it keeps me from having to fuck him, so that's good. I blurted out, that pussy mine now. I don't want you fucking that nigga no more. I wasn't trying to claim her out loud this soon, but I meant what I said. She said, I don't want to either, but he's my husband. Babe, what I gotta do to keep you here with me? She got real quiet. I didn't know if that was a good or bad thing. I was determined to get what I wanted, and I wanted Princess for myself. She finally responded to my question after a long, awkward pause. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to take advantage of your kindness and stay in your place. I mean, I do plan to leave my husband, but I think I want to do things on my own first. That's cool. Leave him now and stay at my place temporarily then. When you're ready to get out on your own, you can move out to your own new place. That could work, I guess. But he ain't gonna like it. I'm afraid of how he will respond. Pack your shit, whatever you can carry, and come over here before he gets back. Okay. Another long silent moment. I could see I had to be a little more direct with her, for her own good. Princess, where you at? 'Cause I'm coming to get you, okay? But I don't want to hear nothing else but the address. Text me the address. She finally listened and sent me the address. Good girl. I laughed a little. She did too. I'll be there in 20. Stay on the phone but pack as much shit as you can. I'll put it in my Escalade. It has a lot of room. Okay. She said with hesitancy. She was worried dude would catch her leaving. I wasn't. I was actually looking forward to it. I was looking for a reason to fuck his ass up. Mistreating my friend was a serious violation. I told her, listen, I know why you are so quiet. Don't worry about shit, 'cause I got you. You safe. If I don't get there in time, my man Stilo stays right around the corner, and he has already been instructed to protect you at all costs. What? You did what? I told you I got you. But I don't want no drama, Ross. He said, there will be no drama unless your husband starts tripping. Hopefully, he won't have a chance. I'm almost there. You ready? I told him, only a few other things I want to take. I can come back for the other shit, damn. Ray's calling me now. It's okay. Ignore him. Let it go to voicemail. He's trying to pick me up for a late dinner. I don't know what that's about, but that means he's on the way back here now. Good. I want to introduce myself as his wife's new man. I laughed. She didn't. She was stressed. I told her again, look babe. I got you. Just don't leave with him. Come outside. I'll pull up in a couple minutes. Okay. I'm grabbing my stuff to bring outside. I may need to call you back to have my hands free. Use your Bluetooth or speaker. Don't hang up. She thought I was playing games. I was serious about keeping her safe. I pulled up shortly after and helped her get the bags in my Escalade. Right on cue, the nigga pulls up and pops out his ride like, what the fuck is going on here? He started heading to the car to approach Princess. I told Princess, listen to me, okay? Put the rest of the bags in the car and lock the door. No discussion, no debate. I'll take care of this. She hesitated. Now, Princess. I said gentle, but firm so she knew I wasn't playing around. I grabbed my piece and went to explain shit to her husband's confused ass. Yo? My nigga. Don't speak to Princess, she ain't going nowhere with you. Who the fuck are you? And who is Princess? Princess is a friend I've known since high school, my nigga, and she is not happy with you. So she coming with me. If you're talking about Naima, I can guarantee you she's not going anywhere with you. I don't even know your ass. She is my wife. He goes to approach my whip. And I pulled out my piece. Yo? My nigga, if you don't get the fuck away from my ride, I will shoot your ass and be justified in doing it. Oh, so you want to pull a weapon out on me unarmed? You can't take an ass whipping like a real man, huh? I was trying not to get my hands bloody, but that's cool if you want to play it like that. I put the gun in my pocket. The husband tried to swing on me, and I could tell off the bat it would be an easy one-round fight. I've been kicking ass since middle school. I learned how to box mad young. I could faintly hear Princess screaming for me to stop while I was fucking her husband up. That only made me more savage. She was the reason for the beating. After a couple punches, the dude was on the ground. I started kicking ribs and his head when Princess came to get me from my blackout. I had lost it for a minute. I didn't even understand my anger towards him. He was in the way of Princess's happiness. In the way of my happiness too. I was in a fog when Princess pulled me away to the car. She started taking charge. Ross, what the fuck? We gotta get out of here before the police come. I ignored her and pulled out my weed stash in the glove compartment. I needed to calm myself. I started making my blunt, and meanwhile she was still losing her mind. She said, Ross baby, we gotta go. He looks real bad. I told her, fuck that weak-ass nigga. I am saving you from getting beat down like I just did him. I can tell he's the type to beat women, and if he found out about us, he would start hitting you. Trust me, I've seen that shit throughout my childhood with my mom and her boyfriends. They always start out nice, and then they act like they want to control you 'cause they supposedly love you so much, and then they start beating your ass. She got quiet, 'cause she knew I was right about the controlling part. I finished fixing my blunt and started puffing it before I pulled off. I could see in the rear view, the cops were pulling up to the house where Ray laid in the street. I sped up and hit the highway entrance at 70 miles per hour and went 90 after that. I didn't stop till we got to the penthouse. I was high as shit, and so was baby girl by the time we got there. That whole scene was invigorating. I got Princess out the car with her bags. I had the doorman carry them to the penthouse, while me and Princess held each other up on the way up to my place. We were so fucked up, laughing the whole way up. I couldn't wait to get her to my penthouse. Finger fucking her in my private elevator. She was so wet, it was ridiculous. Elevator doors opened, but I was trying to make her come in the elevator. She was riding my finger to help me accomplish my mission. She yelled out my name, clawing my back. I kept hitting her G-spot till she couldn't take it no more. Oh shit, Ross, she screamed, I'm coming. Sweet words to my ears. Come baby. I grunted in her ear. You? Ross. Ugh. I kissed her when she came on my finger. Grabbed her fat ass cheeks and slapped them till she moaned and begged for mercy. The orgasms just kept coming in waves. Princess Naima. Ross lifted me up and carried my exhausted body to the living room couch. He covered me with a blanket right quick before answering the doorman at the door with my bags. Ross brought them inside for me so I could sleep. That massive cum I just had drained my energy. I dreamed of me and Ross, but I woke up from a quick nightmare about Ray finding us. What if he sent for me? And had Ross arrested? Who would protect me then? Ross was there next to me when I woke up in a cold sweat, yelling some shit I don't remember. He asked, "What's going on, babe?" I had a bad dream about Ray coming to get me. He seemed annoyed. "Princess, I keep telling you I got you. Relax. I was trying to help you do that in the elevator, but you still trippin'? What if you get in trouble for the shit you did to Ray?" He looked really bad, Ross. He told me, "I told the nigga to leave you alone. He wanted to keep coming for my car. I was gonna shoot his ass at first, but he was talking shit about beating my ass." He started laughing. Beat my ass? I had to show my Mons what time it really was. He didn't know what hit him. Now I was getting annoyed. "Ross, I think you went too far. What, you worried about your little husband? Gone and call him to check on him." He kept talking shit, and I ain't gonna lie, it annoyed me even more. "I'm not going to do that, then he'll track where we are. Right?" Ross said, "You can turn off the location." He was so nonchalant. I guess the blunt helped him chill, but it was making me more paranoid. He could sense my anxiety and started rubbing my hands. "It's gonna be okay, babe. Let's do something fun to get your mind off of shit." "What we gonna do?" "We can go out and grab a bite to eat. Whatever you want, we can do that." I asked him, "Ross, do you realize you just committed a crime?" "Sweetheart, do you realize I don't give a fuck?" He smiled. "I got my baby with me, and us being together is all that matters to me right now." That was like the sweetest shit a man had ever said to me. "I'm glad to be here with you too, but I think this is moving way too fast." But it really is not. All you did was leave your husband, which you should have done a long time ago. It was long overdue. He was right. I said in agreement, "Yeah, I should have, but I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was hoping he'd change. I have never wanted to be anything more than a wife and mother." Tears filled my eyes. Ross wiped them before they fell. "Ah, princess. I didn't know you wanted to be pregnant when you took that pregnancy test." I admitted, "Well, I didn't want to have his baby, so it worked out for the best, I guess." "I can help you with that, princess." I didn't know how to respond or what to say. So I said nothing. He continued, "I would love to have a child with a woman like you. I already know you would be a great mother." "I don't know about that. I would freak out like I do about everything." I laughed out loud. "Princess, I know you would take care of our kids." "Our kids?" He caught himself. "Your kids, I mean." He had me thinking, what if I started a family with Ross? What would it be like? What kind of father would he be? I joked, "See what I mean about us moving too fast? You got us having kids already." We shared a laugh and a long kiss. I was getting hot again, but I didn't want him to know he was turning me into a nympho. Ross saw me squirming and trying my best to keep my legs shut, but he knew I was horny. This prompted him to put his hands in between my legs. Ross asked, "You're wet again?" I nodded. Ross teased, "I'm really starting to feel like a sex object, princess." "Your sex object?" "I'm trying to behave like a good girl, Ross. That's why I didn't say anything. You are the one that keeps making me horny. Tongue kissing me like that, finger fucking me in the elevator. You're the bad one. I'm gonna show you I'm the good guy tonight. You ain't getting no dick the rest of the night. Let's go out instead." I told him, "Okay, and we'll see who is seducing who here." "Yeah, I bet you'll crack first." We both laughed. I was really enjoying his company. The sex was amazing. But what we had to rely on most was our friendship of 10 plus years. For the first time all night, I relaxed and decided to just enjoy Ross' positive vibes. I told him joking back, yeah, it'll be you who cracks first. We got dressed and headed out in his Porsche. He had a lot of cars, so apparently his latest record deal was going very well. The car was really nice. Probably $300,000 or more. I enjoyed the ride and stared out the window at the Manhattan sights. Destination nowhere. We were just cruising the city. We locked hands, but we both remained quiet a while. Ross broke the silence. Where you want to go, sweetheart? I don't care for real. I'm with my best friend and that's all that really matters, right? He smiled. Wow. I'm your best friend? I didn't know that you felt that way after all this time. I didn't either until just now. You saved me from a miserable situation, and I'm still scared, but... He interrupted, you don't ever gotta be scared when you're with me, and even when you're not. Nobody's gonna fuck with you, princess. I got this city on lock, for real. I figured he was joking around, but I realized that he did have a lot of influence in Queens and much of NY. Ross continued, I will save you from another miserable situation if need be, 'cause you are important to me. You've always been someone I've had love for, and at this point I think it may be deeper than that. I don't just provide women their own condos. I could feel my cheeks blushing and my panties getting wet again. I wanted to fuck this man again so bad, but we were in competition to see who wouldn't break first. So I adjusted myself and squeezed my thighs together tight in an attempt to stop the pussycat from throbbing again. Ross looked at me knowing he was making me hot, but he didn't say anything, he just chuckled to himself. I thought, what the fuck is he doing to me right now? Right on cue, he kissed my hand for effect. I pulled my hand away and said, new rule, no flirting all night. Just platonic friendly fun, aight? Cool, that's easy. He laughed at my suffering. I slapped his shoulder playfully. And he goes, watch out now, no flirting. We both got a kick out of that. Ross. I decided to take my childhood bestie to an undisclosed spot on the Upper East Side of Brooklyn. It was a really nice, rich area I knew she would like and had probably never been to before. There's this popular French restaurant called Daniel that was kinda posh. I wanted to show Shorty a good time, 'cause she had a hell of a night. I knew I could bypass the reservations, 'cause I gave them a lot of business in the past, and they knew my celebrity status. Princess immediately looked blown away when we entered the restaurant. It was a really beautiful place where you could eat on the rooftop or the patio out front on a nice day. The food was superb, and even though well-off people ate there, you could dress comfortably. Princess said, Ross hun, this place is too nice. Look at what we have on. I told her, listen, you can wear whatever you want. This is where the elite can chill out and still have a good time. Shorty had me cheesing all night. Kinda amazing how you can fall for someone who used to be like a little sister to you. She was always cute, but I never wanted to fuck her before. I wanted her bad right now though. Couldn't keep my hands off her under the table. She giggled and reminded me repeatedly to keep my hands to myself. Ross, what are you doing? You cheating, baby. You are supposed to follow the rules. Rubbing your thighs ain't cheating. I'm just keeping your legs warm. Stop the bullshit. She said, cheesing hard too. It was obvious to others we really liked each other a lot. Soon as we ordered our food, Princess suddenly puts her head down and avoids eye contact. It was weird, so I asked, what's up, Abe? She said, just guess who the fuck just walked through the door. She was freaking out. I wasn't. That nigga walking up on us, huh? Nah, he's still at the front waiting for his reservations, I guess. Aight, cool. You enjoy the appetizer. I'll be right back. No, Russ, don't. We should just leave, baby. I don't want any trouble. You won't have any trouble. He will. Just chill, I'll take care of it. As I walked away, I thought about getting my piece out of my pocket, but I didn't want to go to jail if I could avoid it. So I decided to take the calm approach first. I looked back at Princess, who still looked worried. She started eating the bread on the table to calm her nerves. I flashed her a smile to make her feel more at ease. She smiled back. Then I focused on the nigga that was fucking with us next. Speaking in a low, calm tone, I said, "Yo, my nigga, let's not make a scene. I thought I whipped your ass enough tonight. I guess you want another beatdown. Listen, I'm not trying to act up in here, but I will if you try to approach my lady again." He said, "Your lady? You mean my fucking wife? Since when is she your lady? I should have known that bitch was cheating." I was getting heated. "Let me talk to you outside, 'cause you're out of pocket for real. She is leaving you because you're disrespectful as hell." He did as told and came outside with me. I started to rock-a-bye his ass out there, but the goal was to avoid jail and protect Princess from her husband. I told him, "Princess is a good woman. She has been my friend since high school, and I know her better than you do. Don't call her out her name around me again, and you'll be good, my nigga. You can have the hoe." I was done talking. I backhanded his ass like I was his pimp and he was my hoe. Call her that shit again and I might go to jail tonight. I'm trying to be peaceful, but you trying me. He huffed and puffed against the wall, but didn't do shit. I went back inside to be with my woman. Princess was still freaking out, eating everything in sight. Stress eating, I guess. "Baby, it's all taken care of, okay? Don't worry. And please leave something for me to eat tonight." I laughed. She smirked a little. Princess asked, "Ross, what happened? You were gone for a minute." I said, "I already told you, I handled it. I just talked to him right quick. He ain't bothering you no more. Just make sure you file for separation ASAP. The quicker, the better." The quicker, the better? Why? She wanted to make me admit she had me strung out. I told her, "'Cause I want you and I'ma have you soon enough." I licked my lips unconsciously. She noticed. She said, "See, remember we said no flirting." How am I flirting, though? Acting like you don't know. I'm trying to be friendly and shit. You licking those juicy, suckable lips. And I'm supposed to ignore that? She had me getting hard. Damn, I may lose this bet. I seriously wasn't flirting. That was just a slip. Aha, let's get our dinner started then. Damn, you ain't full from all those appetizers you ate. We laughed. Why you messing with me? You know I was nervous as hell. I told her, if you want to lose the bet, I can take care of that nervous energy for you. Just give in. I ain't giving in, you are. The sexual tension was thick in the room. I couldn't focus on the food and conversation when I wanted to spread her legs across this dinner table. Dinner would be on her. Princess Naima. Ross was right. I needed to get rid of my tension, but this little game we were playing was fun. I made my dress rise to my upper thigh and gave him a whiff of my wet honey. Ross whispered in my ear, "I can smell you, baby, and I like it. Let's go to the private patio." "Oh, what you got planned, friend?" I made sure to throw "friend" in there to remind him of what was up. "Just want to talk to you alone, that's all." He grinned, knowing he wanted more than conversation. I was gonna go along with it till I saw where this cat and mouse game was going next. I told him I'm down for it. Ross spoke to the waiter a quick minute, and we had all access to the VIP area, which was just for us. It was really nice with plush sofas, champagne bottles, a call button if you wanted more food or anything else. This included weed or other drugs if that's what you wanted. Ross had the VIP staff bring us the strongest weed ever. We rolled it up and took turns getting each other high with shotguns. He was trying everything he could to get me to crack. He knew I got more horny with the weed and alcohol. The temptation was strong, but I was stronger, right? Ross. I knew I was breaking her down little by little. She was loving it, and so was I. We were having the best time together alone, puffing and talking about random shit that weed heads tend to talk about. Philosophizing about shit like the meaning of life and the what-ifs of life. I asked her, what if this world and our experiences are only a dream, and when we wake up we find out we are the real gods? She goes, don't start that shit, 'cause you know I believe in my God. And he is just one God. What if he's a she? I mean, you know the black woman birthed the whole planet, princess. She thought a minute, and took another toke of the weed. What if the woman is God, and she decides she only needs women to birth the planet? What if men are only our sex slaves? I asked her, so you trying to tell me you want me to be your sex slave? I'll be your sex slave if you just give in. I ain't giving in to shit. She laughed. Her laugh was infectious. We were tripping out there, just the two of us, in the most beautiful place in the area. The benefits of being rich and a celebrity. I could get used to the new status I had. They had a heated pool just outside the VIP section. I decided to be a little spontaneous, and without warning jumped in with just my shorts. Princess laughed at my crazy move and followed me into the pool with her short little dress. We were still acting like two virgins in the pool, one on one side of the pool, the other on the other side. Neither wanting to make a move, but both wanting to fuck each other like crazy. I wasn't sure about her, but I was slowly going insane, still wanting to make it through the night without penetration, but needing a release. I just said, fuck it, in my head. We could play this game another night. Tonight couldn't wait. I went closer to Princess, and could see she had already removed her dress and panties in the water. I guess she said, fuck it too. I grabbed her body, and straddled her over my dick. She was aching for penetration. I could tell by the way she arched her back. I whispered to her, sit on that dick, baby. It's yours. She was eager to do as told. She rode me in the water. It was hard work, but we both enjoyed the experience. After a few strokes in the water, I told her to go to our VIP area where there was a large sofa, like the size of a bed. She was quiet but followed instructions. I fingered her to get her wet again. I sampled her pussy from my dripping wet fingers, which meant she was ready. I ate very well that night but never got full. I wanted more and more of her. And she just kept coming and coming. Her appetite, like mine, was never-ending too. And I was happy to see her come like that. When she was finished, I took my woman from the back and came on her ass cheeks. She deep-throated me clean afterwards. My little freak. I liked that. I couldn't believe this was my homegirl from back in the day. Boy, had things really changed for us. Chapter 4. 3 months later. Princess Naima. These last 3 months with Ross have been amazing. Having him back in my life was like a breath of fresh air. We had already declared our love for one another months ago, but now it was next level. We only had one complication, my husband. When me and Ross got together, I filed for a legal separation from Ray, but according to Georgia law, you have to wait a year before filing official divorce papers. So that nigga thought he could still harass me every chance he got. Ross didn't like that shit, and told me he could get rid of my problem easy. He was talking foolish as hell out of emotion. Not saying I wasn't there with him a time or two. I wanted Ray dead too. But prison would keep Ross and me apart, and I couldn't have that. I loved that man. And I was starting to hate my estranged husband. He was really in the way. I had to figure some shit out before Ross did. Ross kept his promise and gave me the condo to live in. I owned the property, and everything was in my name. Did I mention I really loved this man? I loved him so much that I stayed at his place more than I stayed at my own new place. We had a nice little groove going with work during the day, spending quality time in the evening, and making love all night long. Just about every night, except when he had concerts scheduled out of town. Those were the loneliest 2 or 3 days away. And now he was talking about an overseas tour coming up in a few weeks. That tour would be 3 months long. Ross said he wanted me to be with him the whole tour, and I wanted to be there to support my man. But I couldn't just leave my job for months. Ross made another proposal that we both thought just may work. Ross said, "Leave that motherfucking job. You ballin' with the millionaire, you don't need a job." I told him, "I know baby, but you know I love my job." "Yeah, I know that's why I was cool with you staying there, but I want to retire you so your only job is to be by my side and enjoy the finer things in life. This shit about to blow up for us." "Us?" "Yes, us. You gonna be my wife after the divorce, so whatever I make, you make." I was blown by what he was telling me. He was wifing me up, and I wasn't even divorced yet. I was flattered that Ross was planning for our future together, but I wasn't ready to jump from one husband to another. I was just enjoying our moment, and deep down I felt like Ross was just too good to be true. Too good for me. Ross. The European leg of my tour started off in a couple days, and I was still waiting on wifey to decide what to do. I wanted her with me like all the time normally, so there was no way I was leaving her home for 3 months straight. Princess came by my place as usual after work. I had food prepared for us, so we could have a serious talk. I told her, "Baby girl, listen, we gotta talk about this world tour." "Aight, let's talk then, Ross." She seemed to be a little irritated. She looked so cute mad. She was a little firecracker, and I was usually the laid-back one. "I got food for us, so enjoy it, love." Food always worked to calm her down. She ate her favorite dish quietly. She was so beautiful. Nah, I think stunning is a better word to describe her that night. I waited for her sexy ass to finish the food before I started my talk. "Princess, you do realize I ain't leaving you here while I tour. You coming with me?" "No, Ross. I told you before that I can't leave work for 3 months. I thought of a good idea, and figured it would solve our problem." I asked her, "Why don't you come for certain parts of the tour? When you need to leave, I'll fly you back home. When you want to join me, I'll fly you back. Give us a chance to miss each other." "Yeah, I guess, and you'll have time for groupies." She joked, but I knew there was some insecurity lying underneath the joke. "Babe, you know I don't care about them bitches. I love you and want you with me the whole tour. If you change your mind, I'll be waiting." I gently held her chin to kiss her. She was so important to me, and she didn't even know it. More than the money and the newfound fame. Princess was special in my life for years, and I was now ready to make it official. Fuck her husband. "Princess, I need you to understand what you really mean to me, so maybe this may clear this shit up for you." I pulled out the ring from my pocket. "Next year when you divorce that nigga, I want you to be my wife for life, not a season. We are meant for each other. Our love has been there since the beginning, we just were not paying attention back then." Princess looked amazed by the 10-carat platinum diamond engagement ring and my sudden proposal. We had talked about the future, and possibly getting married after her divorce was final in a little over a year. I said to myself, fuck that shit, she's already my wife, we just have a few formalities to resolve. The money was rolling in after my renewed record contract was finalized. So all I needed was to let the money talk. I got the best lawyer in NY to help represent Princess in the divorce. There was some kind of legal loophole to speed up the process. If things went according to plan, me and Princess would be married within a 6-month period. "Ross, I don't know what to say, baby. Say you'll marry me, and be the one and only Mrs. Rashid Johns." She told me, I would love to be her, but how when I'm still legally married to Ray? Fuck that motherfucker. I'll take care of that shit for you. All you have to do is start planning our wedding for the end of the year. 'Cause I can't wait no longer than that. She looked skeptical, like she doubted I could fix her problem. So I told her, I already have the best lawyer in the city representing you in the divorce. He told me that since you are already legally separated, the process shouldn't be more than 6 months. We'll just be engaged till then, and have time to practice for our wedding night. I grabbed her left hand and placed the ring on her ring finger. She didn't stop me. She kissed my lips and said with a smile, "You know I can't say no to you, of course I'll marry you, Ross." No other words were spoken. I just picked her up from the sofa and carried her to the bedroom. Our bedroom. We needed to celebrate our new engagement immediately without hesitation. I instructed Princess to sit her juicy peach on my face. I palmed her fat ass with my middle fingers slipping in and out her asshole, just the way she liked it. Her pussy and asshole were so wet, she lubricated my finger. She was loving that shit. She kept whispering and moaning while she rode my tongue, "Deeper, baby, deeper," so I went deeper. At this point, I had her going crazy. It only took a few minutes for wifey to release her sweet juices in my mouth. She tasted so good to me. I couldn't wait to enter her slow and deep, like she liked it. Princess was taken by surprise, 'cause I dove deeper with my dick too. All 9 inches went to the depths of her ocean. I made sure to stare through her soul when I hit the bottom over and over again. After an hour of torturing my baby and driving her insane, I purposely came deep inside her, hoping to make her my fiancée and child's mother all in one night. She was in so much ecstasy that she didn't even realize I came inside, no protection and no pull-out like usual. I was drifting off to sleep after I had the hardest cum ever, when Princess nudged me awake. I already knew what she wanted to talk about, because she was sexually satisfied and way too exhausted to fuck anymore. I answered her half-sleep while she was laying on my chest. "Yes, love." "Ross, you do realize you didn't pull out?" "Yeah, I do. I wanted you to feel all my love and my hard dick inside you. But you already know how I feel about getting pregnant, especially in my situation." "Yes, baby, but I need you to understand that I am in love with you and I want you to feel it. If we have a child together, that would just be an extra bonus, God intended." I was hoping she wasn't too mad at me for what I did. I meant to come inside of her on purpose, and it felt good for both of us. She remained quiet, I guess giving me the silent treatment the rest of the evening. I still held her while we slept. Princess Naima. I could barely sleep, but I kept still 'cause Ross was sleeping. I loved that man so much, but him trying to impregnate me without my permission was infuriating. I wasn't ready for a baby. Felt like I was just growing up myself at 28 years old. Ross already had a 5-year-old son, so he was used to parenthood. I wanted to wait till I was ready, and I had no idea if I would ever be ready. Quiet as kept, I felt I was too young and inexperienced to be a wife either. I had already fucked up marrying Ray at age 20. Ross was a much different man, and he had always been a great friend, but all of this was just moving too fast. I figured that maybe in 6 months, when the divorce is final, I would feel different. Without Ross' knowledge, I went to get the morning after pill 'cause he wasn't gonna make me a mother before my time. If he could be slick, so could I, right? He asked where I was going, so I had to come up with a quick lie. "Baby, I'm just running to the store to get a few things for us to eat. I'm starving." His next comment was hilarious. "Oh, our baby is hungry already." I just looked at him, rolled my eyes, and left out the door without speaking. He knew I was still pissed at him. He also knew I would eventually forgive him regardless. I pulled up at the store and ran into Ray again in the parking lot. He waved at me. I tried to ignore him, but I was a little scared to be alone with him. What the fuck am I gonna do? I thought. I needed the morning after pill, but I couldn't get that with Ray lurking behind me in the store. I decided to turn around and leave. I pulled off as fast as I could, but Ray did exactly what I thought he would do. He drove closely behind me like, "I don't give a fuck if you see me behind you or not, bitch." I had to choose whether to call the police or go home to Ross and let him handle my estranged husband. I decided to drive home, 'cause I felt safer with him than the police. I called Ross, just in time to jump out the car and run for the door. Ross came out with his gun ready to blaze. I begged him to come inside and leave shit alone. I told him I was in safe, and I didn't want my fiancé to land in jail for murder. He was pissed and fed up with Ray's shit, and there was nothing I could do or say to get him to calm down. All I could do was watch it all go down. Ross went to Ray's car to confront him with the gun by his side. Ray must have noticed the gun and pulled off. Ross started bussing gunshots at the car. He must have hit the tires, 'cause Ray's car slowed down at the end of the block. I screamed for Ross to stop, but he was in a rage with a gun. I was starting to regret my decision to not call the police instead. Ross. Bitch-ass nigga stopped at the stop sign with busted tires, and the whole back window shattered. I was hoping I hit that nigga, but he jumped out the car screaming just like a pussy. I started to shoot again and not miss this time, but I could hear Princess screaming in the background, running up behind. I couldn't blast her husband in front of her. I had to make a decision, and no matter what I did, it would not be good. I just had to pick the best out of a bunch of bad options. I decided to do nothing. I took my baby back home and waited for the police 'cause I knew they were coming to pick my ass up. Princess was in tears. I told her what was about to go down, and left her instructions to bail me out with money I left behind. I also left her access to my accounts just in case. I trusted Princess to have access to anything she wanted. I advised Princess to call the police on her husband for stalking, which led up to all this shit with me shooting at his ass. Princess was so fucked up in the head, she didn't hear a damn thing I said, so I texted her the instructions before the cops came knocking. I kissed her with everything I had, and reassured her I'd be back soon. She was crying rivers of tears, and I couldn't calm her down for nothing. The police came to the door, and I was prepared for my incarceration. They asked to come in and ask questions. I was just as shocked as Princess. What was going on? Princess let them come in and sit on the couch. Her eyes were still puff-wide, but there were no more tears. She asked nervously, "Would you like anything to drink, officers?" One officer said no, the other took the offer. The officer who said no seemed like a hard ass. He said, "Ma'am, we just spoke with Mr. Ray Jackson, who wouldn't say much to us. He did point us in your direction. Neighbors reported that someone shot out Mr. Jackson's car windows and tires. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" I interrupted, "Baby, you go ahead and fix the drinks. I'll handle this." The hard ass wasn't gonna stress my baby out further with all these motherfucking questions. I told him, "Listen, I can tell you what happened 'cause I was there. My fiancée was rushing home from the store, scared because her ex-husband has been following her everywhere she goes for the last few months." The officer started taking notes. It was a good sign. I continued, "When she got home a few minutes ago, she was freaking out. I went to talk to him about his stalking shit. He pulled off, and so I admit I got more angry because I'm getting tired of him intimidating my fiancée. Without thinking, I went to shoot out his tires to stop him from leaving. I was lying my ass off, but I was good at it." The hard-ass officer said, "There were bullet casings found inside the car too. One bullet went through the back window and almost hit Mr. Jackson in the driver's seat." I told them, "I didn't say I was good at shooting. I was mad as hell, and I rarely have to use my gun, you know?" The other officer goes, "So you took the law in your own hands instead of calling the police?" "Yeah, I wasn't thinking straight at all. I was worried about my wife-to-be." Hard-ass cop turned to Princess, "Ma'am, is what he is saying true? Are you being stalked?" She started crying again, which was perfect for effect. "Yes, sir. I have been asking him to leave me alone, and he keeps popping up everywhere. Today, he followed me to the store and followed me back home. I was too afraid to even go inside the store. I just sped off, and here he goes tailing me home." Hard-ass cop said, "Why didn't you call the police or drive to your closest precinct?" I interrupted, "She came home where she feels safe. She knew I would protect her 'cause I love her. The police are a little suspect sometimes." I wasn't sure if those were the right choice of words. So far, I thought I was doing pretty good. The other cop said, "Looks like you reacted out of emotion." He seemed to be helping me out for some reason. I said, "Yeah, I would do anything for my princess, I mean Naima." The police asked us a few more questions, and they surprisingly filed a report against Ray. They told me I had to go to court for the incident with the gun, and would be held downtown till Monday when the court opened. They told me that since I was defending my fiancé against harm, I'd probably get a lesser charge than attempted murder. I knew better living in New York my whole life. They don't let gun charges just slide. I stayed in lockup over the weekend and waited till Monday for the courts to open, and was given an opportunity to post bail at the preliminary hearing. Princess made sure to bail me out with $500,000 as instructed. I went home that day, but I knew I had to talk to my lawyer about the sentencing hearing set for a couple months after. The lawyer told me I was at risk of jail for a year if we couldn't prove the self-defense plea. It didn't look good with me coming outside, shooting at the car. The lawyer said it may work out in my favor, with no one willing to be a witness and Ray not cooperating with the police. All this shit was in the way of my upcoming tour. I didn't have time to stop my tour for court dates. Thinking, maybe I should have killed and buried that nigga. Princess Naima. A few weeks later, I realized I forgot the morning after pill I intended to get that day, 'cause now I was feeling like I could be pregnant. I missed my period that was like clockwork every month, and now I was throwing up all of a sudden for no other apparent reason. Ross and I waited for the test results. I thought strongly in my heart I was pregnant. Ross was excited, but I couldn't share in his enthusiasm. How could I? Things couldn't get any more complicated between us. I was still legally married to Ray, and Ross was facing time in jail for shooting at Ray. All this shit was my fault. And now I was possibly pregnant. And the father who I loved very much was probably gonna be locked up till our kid was born. Maybe even after our kid was born. Why the fuck was this happening? I tried my best to be happy, and thought I'd just savor the next 2 months until we had the sentencing, but worry was still in the back of my mind. What would I do without Ross if he got a heavy sentence? He tried to convince me he had the best lawyer his money could buy, and that everything would be fine. I just wasn't so sure. To ease my mind, Ross planned a romantic evening for us. With food catered, the best champagne and live musicians in our condo. It was beautiful. When we were alone, Ross gave me a personal massage, and it was amazing. I don't know where he learned to use his hands like that, but it helped relieve the tension I felt. Not long into the massage, the panties came off. Ross whispered in my ear, which he knew was a major turn-on. You know, I hear pregnant pussy is the best pussy. I want to find out. I was gonna let him find out. I was extra wet and ready for penetration. Ross gave me just what I needed. Love, safety, security, and the best sex a girl could ask for. He entered me like his whole life depended on it. Like we had limited time together, and we had to soak up each other as much as possible. Because our future was uncertain. I held onto his back with all my strength, like he was leaving and going away to war. I wanted to feel him inside me like this forever. My mind wandered to the future, and I envisioned myself carrying this baby alone. I envisioned feeling vulnerable with Ross away and Ray coming after me. If he found out about the baby, he would flip out worse than before. I already had a restraining order, but since when do those stop crazy people from killing folks? Ross could tell I was preoccupied, 'cause I stopped stroking his dick. I turned my face away, but he could see I was crying. This ruined our flow. Ross stopped fucking me to attend to my emotional wounds. What's wrong, baby? Am I hurting you? Tears still flowing. No, babe. I was just thinking about some things. He asked, what things, princess? I'm worried about being pregnant and alone. This was about to be a serious discussion, 'cause Ross pulled out to hold me instead. Ross told me, listen, sweetheart. You don't have to worry about none of that shit. I'm gonna beat those charges, and even if I don't, I would never leave you alone and vulnerable to the nutcase you have for a husband. I corrected him, soon-to-be ex-husband, but how would you protect me from behind bars, Ross? I got ways. I have a whole entourage of niggas willing to kill for you if I tell them to. I told him, I don't know those guys in your entourage. How would they make me feel more safe? He said, okay, I'll have you meet my main guy, David. He'll make sure everything is good for you before I go away. If I have to go away, feel better? I guess a little. When will we know something for sure? The sentencing is in a couple months. We will know what's up then. Till then, promise me you'll just live in the moment and enjoy our time together regardless of what happens. I admitted, that will be hard, but I will try my best. I smiled at him. He smiled back and grabbed my ass. This time, he took me from the back. It was on and poppin' again, and it felt so good. Chapter 5. 2 months later. Princess Naima. The day of the sentencing hearing was much more terrifying for me than it was for Ross. He was overly confident, in my opinion. He said, I'll see you after court and tighten you up a little bit. I wasn't so convinced. Even though he was only sentenced to a misdemeanor gun charge, he was facing up to a year in jail. I couldn't make it a year without Ross, especially with the baby on the way. After about 2 hours and 30 minutes of waiting, they gave Ross his sentence of a year probation and a fine of $5,000. His gun privileges were suspended for 3 years. The tears started flowing down my face. My man was free, and now I would definitely get tightened up like he said. That was the best part. As soon as the court case was over, Ross said, see baby, I told you I would tighten you up tonight, didn't I? I responded in shock, yeah, you called it, but how? I mean, that was a long shot, you getting off that easy. I told you before, I have the best lawyer there is in NY, and he specializes in winning gun charge type cases. He told me a bunch of times not to worry about it, and that he had already spoken to Judge about the circumstances. Apparently they are good friends, and it worked in my favor. Our favor. I'm so happy, Ross. I just can't believe it. He told me, I guess you won't question your man again, will you? I told you I got you. And I got you until I take my last breath. Don't talk like that. I don't plan on leaving here no time soon. Now that we're home, get in that house so I can tighten you up a little bit like I told you. We both shared a laugh, and we couldn't wait to get in the house. You wouldn't believe who was lurking in the shadows. Different car, same crazed stalker. I couldn't believe after all this shit he was still fucking with us. Ross didn't notice, 'cause he was busy opening the door as fast as he could. When we went inside, I debated whether to say anything to Ross. I mean, look what happened the last time I told him. He just escaped jail time. I decided I would privately call the police. With my restraining order, Ray should get jail time instead of Ross. Once inside, Ross started talking shit about tightening me up, and damn, I wanted that shit too, but I had other things on my mind. I told him I was getting nauseous and needed to go to the bathroom, which wasn't a stretch with the pregnancy and all this excitement going on. He kissed me, told me to feel better, and let him know if I needed him. He went down to the kitchen to get food. Ross hadn't eaten all day. That should keep him occupied while I call, I thought. I whispered on the phone to the 911 operator. I need to report a stalking situation with my ex. I have a restraining order, and my ex is parked in front of my home. What is your name and location, ma'am? I gave her the details she needed to send the police out. I was hoping Ray's dumbass was still parked in front of the place when they came. I felt better, so I flushed the toilet for effect and left the bathroom, hoping the police would catch Ray and lock his ass up. When I looked up, Ross was out in the hallway ready to investigate. Bae, who were you on the phone with? I didn't respond. I didn't know how to respond. He then said, I heard you talking to 911, but why? I asked a little mad, then why did you ask me if you already knew? I wanted to give you a chance to tell me why you are calling 911 without my knowledge. I told him, you have been through enough dealing with my ex. You just avoided jail. I don't need you tripping out again. So this shit is about that motherfucker? What did he do now? I don't want to talk about it, Ross. The police will handle it, okay? Nah, it's not okay. That nigga trying me for real. He's lucky I didn't kill him that day. I am a sharpshooter, so I purposely missed. He wants me to do life in prison for deading his ass. Ross, are you forgetting your child on the way who won't have a father if you fuck up again? Fuck up again? I am protecting my woman. I had to tone him down before the cops came knocking. I tried a different approach. I took his hand and started rubbing it. He always liked when I did that. I said, listen babe. I love you and I need you here with me and our child on the way. Please let the cops handle it and let that nigga go to jail instead, okay? He softened a little. Okay, I'll try, but if they don't do shit I will, princess. I didn't say anything. I just shook my head and prayed internally that the cops would do something and soon. I peeked out the blinds and I saw the car still parked there. It was so dark I couldn't see if anyone was in the car. The police showed up a few minutes later. Ross went to answer the door first. We recognized the hard-ass cop from before. Ross was getting heated again. Here go this motherfucker. Calmate papi. Using my limited Spanish to calm him down. He smiled and nodded for me to get the door instead. Just chill, okay? I opened the door and greeted the officer. Good evening, officer. Come in, please. The officer asked, so what seems to be the problem? I called because my estranged husband has been stalking me even after the last incident. He was just outside sitting in the blue SUV. The officer said, my partner has been investigating outside. Let me check with him. The hard-ass officer, as Ross called him, wasn't so bad today. He went outside and spoke to the other officer outside. Ross looked skeptical, but he waited patiently to see what would happen. I was impatiently waiting for an answer, praying they caught him near my house. Both officers came back in, and the other officer who was outside did the talking. Ma'am, I think we found the car parked outside, but we don't see the driver. It's only a matter of time before he returns and we'll have him then. I looked at Ross, and I could see he was about to flip. I gave him a look that said, calmate papi. I got this. Officers, please wait, he will eventually come back, and he usually waits for my man to leave to confront me. It is very terrifying at this point. I could see Ross was boiling over and about to explode. He was always the calm, laid-back one in the relationship, but this shit was really fucking with him. He needed to feel like my protector no matter what, and now he was in a compromising situation where he had to stay low or go to jail behind my husband's bullshit. I tried to fix my mistake by saying, my man has already gotten into trouble because of my ex's behavior. I'm trying to prevent things from escalating further. The officers seemed to want to genuinely help. They said they would be back, but in unmarked cars and watch for the stalker to return. They also said they would interview the neighbors to see if they noticed anything. I figured something was better than nothing. Ross felt differently. He said, what the fuck was that? They didn't do shit. Ross, let's give them a chance to do what they said. Maybe they'll catch Ray's dumbass camping out. Ross started smiling. It was kinda like a devilish type grin. I asked, what you smiling for? What are you up to? He gave some bullshit answer, oh nothing. I was just thinking about tightening you up. I still owe you that. I was gonna play his game for the night, 'cause I needed that shit bad, but I was gonna see what he had up his sleeve later. I gave a devilish grin in return. I've been waiting on this all day. Ross. I was only partially lying to Princess. I was smiling because I really wanted her riding my dick, but I was also smiling because I finally knew how to take care of our little problem. But I was gonna focus on one thing at a time. I carried Princess's heavy ass up the stairs. At 4 months pregnant, she was already starting to get heavy as hell, but I would carry her and my daughter the rest of their lives. Even if I couldn't be around, they would always be taken care of. Princess was even hornier being pregnant. Grabbing at my zipper, trying to get my dick in her mouth as fast as she could. I let her at first, but I needed to satisfy my appetite first. I had to taste that sweet prego pussy. She didn't fight it as I dove in head first. As a matter of fact, I think she shoved my head in deeper. When I came up for air, I kissed her lips, making her taste all the goodness with me. She looked so cute with her little round stomach. The mother of my child was beautiful and sexy. I stopped a moment, just in awe of her. She looked confused a minute, till I got back to business. We fucked in every kind of position that night. That would change as she got bigger. But for tonight, I could do just about anything. We enjoyed the 69 position on our sides. Her mouth was so warm and wet, I had to stop her a few times. I didn't want to come too quick. Our thing was to wait to come together at the same time. So I continued eating till she was about to come, and pulled back. It was the best torture for her. After an hour or so, we finally came together, and hard. This only made her hornier. Playing with herself in front of me. She knew this drove me crazy. I had to recoup my energy, but I'd be hard enough to fuck again in a few minutes. I went in doggy style, playing with her asshole at the same time. This drove her insane. We knew just what to do to please each other. We both never seemed to get enough. That night was probably a personal record for us, at 3 hours long. I felt like I had taken a couple Viagra, but I was super hard without that shit. Princess Naima. A week or so later, I heard that Ray had mysteriously died, and his death was unknown. Coroners said it was probably from some undetectable substance, but the cause of death was still undetermined. My emotions were all over the place, and when I mentioned it to Ross, he just said, "Good, problem solved." I couldn't help but wonder if Ross knew something I didn't know. I know he didn't do anything personally to Ray, 'cause we had been overseas for the past week, for his European tour. I was with him pretty much the whole time. But what if? Ross. I guess it pays to be a rich celebrity. You don't have to get your hands dirty if you don't want to. My boy in our hometown, QB, was happy to do it for free. I paid him $500,000 to take care of business, which was nothing to me at this point. I had over $30 mil in the bank, not to mention my business investments. Guess that nigger Ray made another wrong turn down my block. Princess and me got married a month or so later in a beautiful private ceremony in France. 4 months later, my daughter came early. Naishima Rain Johns was a tiny little 6 pounds 1 ounce, and she stole my heart immediately. I remember Princess becoming jealous, because once Naishima came along, I paid Princess very little attention. My daughter needed my attention more. Naishima was definitely a daddy's girl, and I took care of her more than her mother did when I was off tour and not working. After the first 6 weeks, me and Princess were back to our usual sex sessions. We just had to fuck on the baby's schedule. I was always the one putting Naishima to sleep, and then putting her mother, Naima Princess, to sleep. Our family of 3 was everything to me. It quickly expanded to 4 with the birth of our newborn son 10 months later. We were so happy, and our family was now complete. Everything was just perfect, until it wasn't.